So these are notes for Friday, August the 27th. We practice translating and solving one-step equations. So I'm going to go through each problem and translate the problem for you and work it out. So in this first problem, Carlos has been saving his money. Basically, his parents gave him $25 because he mowed the grass, and it says now he has $603. So I'm going to put $603 as the equals part. Whoops, 603, because that's how much money he has now. Now, if his parents paid him $25, that means he earned it. And if I take the amount he had before, which is X, and I add his earnings to it, that should equal 603. So to solve this equation, we're going to subtract 25 from both sides. Those cancel, of course, and I get X equals. So if I do the math real quick on there, 603 minus $25 would give us $578. So that tells us that he started out with $578. Let me double check my math, make sure I did that right. Okay, this one is just a regular problem, no translation needed, and we see that we've got an R, and this negative 13 is the one that needs to be moved, so the opposite would be to add 13 to both sides. That's going to give us R equals, and because 13 and 32 are opposite signs, that means we subtract. So if you've got negative 32 plus a positive 13, that would give you negative 19, which would be our answer. Now another word problem. Jennifer withdrew $120 from her bank account. Withdraw is going to mean subtraction in this problem. So if she now has $3,345, that's going to be our equals part, $3,345. She's got some money in the bank. She's going to withdraw, so that means subtraction. And that's how you would translate that one. Let me see if I can move that down a little bit. So if we, whoops, sorry, went too far. If we add 120 to both sides, that's going to give our total to be $3,465. So basically what you're trying to do when you work these out is you're reading the problem and seeing if you can translate. I've noticed in class that everyone seems great with the solving. It's just being comfortable with the keywords. For example, in this one, minus is obviously going to mean subtract. Anytime you see the phrase a number, that's always your variable. So a number minus 3 means equals negative 8. Add 3 to both sides to solve, and you would get X equals negative 5. 8 less than a number. That little phrase right there, less than a number, can be kind of tricky. Less than does mean subtract, but what it's saying is that it wants you to take 8 away from the number. So instead of writing 8 minus X like a lot of us would think, it should instead be X minus 8. That's just one you have to memorize. That's kind of a tricky phrase, is less than. So you will add 8 to both sides, and X is going to equal 24. All right, let's keep going. Chris is buying songs for iTunes that are $1.49 each. Each is usually a keyword that is implying that it wants some multiplication done there. If he spends $19.37, how many songs did he buy? So I know 1937 is the equals part, and if I spend $1.49 per song or each, that would be multiplication. So then the opposite of that would be divide. Divide both sides by $1.49. And I believe $1.49 goes into 1937 13 times. He can buy 13 songs with that much money. Product, keyword. Product means multiply. So if I have negative 3 and a number, and those are supposed to be multiplied together, I'm just going to put them right side by side. You can put a times dot in between if you want to, but it's really not necessary. And then, of course, is negative 21, that's the equals. So the opposite would be division. Make sure you divide by that exact number, and you get X equals 7. All right, let's continue. Now, we had a little typo on this problem in class, and so I'll make note of that when I finish. An orange contains about 80 milligrams of vitamin C, which is 10 times as much as an apple contains. Write and solve an equation. We're not finding the cost per child, obviously, on this problem. We're trying to find how much vitamin C is in an apple. I think 80 is our equals part. And this one translates pretty simply when it says 10 times as much as an apple. You know you would have 10 times your variable, which is x. So some quick division, and that will give you 8. All right, let's see our last three. I must be missing something here. It says of a number is equal to -16. I wonder what that was supposed to say. I don't have another copy of my notes in front of me, so I'm going to leave that one here right now. If I can grab one in a minute, I'll pull that out. But I'm going to skip number 8 for now. I didn't realize that that was, so I tell you what, let me do this. Bear with me for just a second. Number 8, let's see what number 8 was supposed to say. Ah, here we go. Look at there. My 4/3 got dropped somehow. 4/3 of a number. Let me fill that in. So on number 8, it should say 4/3. It looks like my board doesn't like fractions for some reason. Of a number is equal to -16. Oh, I'm glad we don't get to skip this one. This one's definitely one you would want to see worked out. 4/3 of means multiply of a number is equal to -16. Now, we've practiced this in class several times, getting comfortable with doing this fractional idea on the calculator. I'm going to do this one longhand just to show you in case you don't have a calculator in front of you. 4/3 x means 4/3 times x, so the opposite of that would be to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by 4/3. Now that looks pretty cumbersome. All this stuff cancels out, so we just have x by itself. This I'm going to rewrite as -16 divided by 4/3. Hopefully when you see it written that way, you'll remember, oh yeah, we learned these a long time ago. This is an idea of keeping this one the same, changing that to multiply, and flipping that one over. So I've got a keep, change, flip idea. If I multiply across, -16 times 3, I'm going to write it over on this side. I ran out of room. I get -48. On the bottom, 1 times 4 is 4, and if I divide that out, I get -12. You can type that into the calculator, and I can show you how to do that during class time. All right, last two. A number divided by 4 is equal to -7, so a number divided by 4 is equal to -7. The opposite of dividing by 4 would be multiplying, so that's your math. Those cancel, of course, and you get x equals -28. And finally, quotient means divide. So we've got the quotient of a number, and -9 is 2. So the opposite of dividing by -9 would be multiplying by -9. Cancel those out. X equals -18. And that would be your notes.